This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 5 o'clock here on your Thursday. Good morning to you. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. Here's what's making headlines on this March 12th.
After consulting with our top government health professionals, I have decided to take several strong but necessary actions to protect the health and well-being of all Americans.
President Trump addressing the nation last night, laying out his plan to help stop the spread of the coronavirus.
A petition circulating online is calling on Carmel Clay schools to allow e-learning as an option for students to stay home as more cases of COVID-19 are being confirmed in Indiana. How the school district is responding.
And the Pendleton Correctional Facility is looking to hire Hoosiers. Our Kelsey Anderson is looking into what it takes to become a correctional officer and how you can snag a job. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm King 6 forecast.
Yeah, meteorologist Todd Klassen standing by. Todd, heading in this morning, the roads are a little bit wet as you head out the door.
Yeah, you know, they're just damp. We don't have any rain out there, but we still have a lot of moisture out there and just kind of the overall damp feeling. And that's due to a little bit of patchy fog that's out there this morning. So you're not going to see any puddles. That's the good news. But temperatures are currently in the 40s, so we're above freezing. You don't have to worry about any ice. Now, Storm Team 6 radar is pretty quiet this morning. You don't have to worry about any precipitation this morning for your commute. We just have these clouds that have been very, very stubborn to depart, and we're really not going to work our way into much of anything in the way of sunshine once again throughout the day today. And as we expand out, there's not a whole lot going on, but we'll have to keep our eye on this cluster of rain off to our west. That's going to come in here and bring the potential for maybe some strong to severe storms across southern portions of the state as we get into the evening hours. Temperatures right now are in the 40s. It's going to be a mild day for us today. Even with the cloud cover, temperatures should be climbing up into the 60-degree range. It probably doesn't happen until 6, 7 o'clock, just like yesterday. But by 4 o'clock, that's when some of those storms start to arrive. We'll talk about them in more detail coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We're taking a live look right now at I-65 south of 38th Street. We've been telling you about this vehicle fire here that has closed down the right lane all morning long. INDOT tweeting about half an hour ago that they anticipate that this closure is going to be taking place for the next 2 hours or so. So around 6:30, they hope to have that open back up. Once again, that is the right lane closed due to a vehicle fire. You can see there are crews out there working to get it cleaned up, but just be aware of that if you're headed that direction. We begin this morning with continuing coverage of the growing coronavirus outbreak in the U.S. Several major developments happening late last night.
The biggest, President Trump cutting off travel from a new part of the world as we now face what the World Health Organization is calling a global pandemic. Daryl Forges is at the CDC with the latest.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
President Trump suspending travel from Europe to the United States beginning Friday at midnight. The restrictions will not apply to the United Kingdom.
There will be exemptions for Americans who have undergone appropriate screenings, and these prohibitions will not only apply to the tremendous amount of trade and cargo, but various other things as we get approval.
The president says he will soon be taking emergency action to provide financial relief for working Americans who fall ill, get quarantined, or have to take care of anyone infected by the coronavirus.
Effective immediately, the SBA will begin providing economic loans in affected states and territories. I will be instructing the Treasury Department to defer tax payments without interest or penalties for certain individuals and businesses negatively impacted. Finally, I am calling on Congress to provide Americans with immediate payroll tax relief.
Despite stocks plummeting into bear market territory Wednesday, President Trump says he expects an economic boom when the outbreaks slow down.
People aren't leaving their homes. I think you're going to see a tremendous pent-up demand, which hopefully won't be in the too distant future.
From the CDC in Atlanta, I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Daryl, thank you. After the president's address, the White House sent out a tweet clarifying the new travel restrictions. The restriction applies only to foreign nationals who have been in 26 European countries with open open borders agreements in the last 14 days. Those exempt from these restrictions, such as U.S. citizens, will be directed to limited airports where screenings can take place.
Meanwhile, the NBA announced late last night that it would be suspending its season after at least one player tested positive for the disease. Fans attending the Oklahoma Thunder Utah Jazz game were sent home shortly before tip-off. You can see right here reaction from Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. The IU grad stunned when he received the news as he was watching a game. Speaking to reporters later, Cuban said he understood the decision.
This is people's lives at stake. This isn't about basketball. This isn't about the Mavericks. This isn't about, when do we start or do we start or how do we start? This is a pandemic, a global pandemic where people's lives are at stake. And I'm a lot more worried about my kids and my mom, who's 82 years old, and talking to her and telling her to stay in the house than I am about when we play our next game.
And new this morning, the Pacers organization responding to the league's decision, saying in part, quote, with the unexpected news, we are working to provide information to our fans who have tickets for upcoming Pacers home games. We will continue to provide updates as they become available.
The NBA's decision to suspend the season, along with the NCAA's announcement that it will restrict fans from entering games due to the spreading of the coronavirus, will no doubt have an impact on Indy's tourism economy. New numbers from Visit Indy show the city was projecting $15 million in revenue from the Big Ten alone. The Sweet 16 and Elite 8 set at Lucas Oil Stadium was projected to bring in 50,000 attendees and an additional $20 million in economic impact. Elected and business leaders we spoke to say the drop in revenue will be a big one, but they are already looking for ways to adjust.
Schools are having to make some tough decisions over concerns of the coronavirus as it continues to spread in Indiana. Several colleges and universities have moved classes online, and now there's calls for one local school district to do the same. A petition is circulating online calling on Carmel Clay schools to allow e-learning as an option for students to stay home. It has more than 1,000 signatures. Parents we spoke to say they are trusting the school to make the right decision.
I don't know at this point, with the level that we're at, closing is the right thing to do, but they are talking about social distancing, and this is obviously a whole new world. We have never experienced this before, so I think we really need to listen to the experts.
The district sent an email to parents Wednesday saying, quote, if we are directed to close one or more of our schools, our staff is prepared to use Canvas and G Suite tools to deliver instruction and learning experiences for our students. The district also created a new web page to answer common questions such as spring break travel, attendance, and school events. You can find all of that information on the school's website. Meanwhile, Park Tudor has announced they will close their campus starting today and will remain closed until after spring break. The school says the goal is to reopen by Monday, April 13th. E-learning for students will be implemented beginning Monday, March 16th. School officials say they were notified that a parent has recently been in close proximity to someone who has tested positive for coronavirus, and two others associated with Park Tudor may have been in close contact with another person who has tested positive. Although no one has direct ties to Park Tudor that has tested positive for coronavirus, the school says they want to close campus to protect the health of students and faculty.
The Marion County Public Health Department has released new recommendations when it comes to large gatherings of people. They say if you are at a higher risk of contracting the coronavirus, you should avoid crowds where the virus is more easily spread. COVID-19 has been shown to be more deadly in older people, so Dr. Virginia Kane says seniors with a chronic medical illness such as heart disease, diabetes, and lung disease should reconsider attending large public gatherings. That includes festivals, sporting events, and other activities where large crowds gather. Also, Dr. Kane says anyone who has returned from visiting a country in the CDC's level 2 or level 3 travel health notice within the last 14 days, you should also avoid attending large gatherings. And working for you, we want to separate fact from fiction when it comes to the coronavirus. That's why tomorrow night we'll be airing a 30-minute special from our Scripps national team. Coronavirus: The Facts is breaking breaking down what you need to know and answering any questions you may have. You can watch that at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, only on RTV6. Plus, you can keep up to date online at theindychannel.com/coronavirus. There you can find everything you need to know about what's going on in the state and across the country regarding the coronavirus.
Taking a turn now at 5:09, Hiring Hoosiers is an initiative from RTV6 that works to connect Hoosiers to employment opportunities, career development resources, training programs, and educational paths. And this morning, our Kelsey Anderson is giving us an inside look at what it takes to become a corrections officer at the state-run Pendleton Correctional Facility. She's live there now with more details. Kelsey.
Hey, Meredith, good morning. So the Pendleton Corrections Facility, it seems they have a career fair almost every month, and that's because they have vacancies that need to be filled. So is it high turnover or is it low turnout to those career fairs? Well, I talked to Major Mike Conyers, and he tells me it's a little bit of both. He says sometimes the job title gets a bad rap, but ask anyone who works here and they'll tell you they really do enjoy what they do. He says the 3 things it takes to be a successful CO is fairness, firmness, and consistency. If you think you possess those 3 traits, he wants to see you at the career fair this Saturday. During the interview process, future employees do get to shadow a corrections officer so they can get a real feel for the job before accepting or denying the position.
The mission of a correctional officer is safety and security. First and foremost is making sure that the offender population is secured, making sure that the public is safe, making sure that the offender population is taken care of.
COs start out at $16 an hour, have full benefits, including retirement, paid time off for personal and sick days. Plus, the facility offers a tuition forgiveness program. Now, coming up in the next half hour, you're going to hear from 3 correction officers on their experience working here at this facility and what they say it takes to be successful in this career. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, behind Kelsey there, as you looked at the lights, you can see a little bit of patchy fog across central Indiana. And as you walk out the door, we still just have that damp field. Nicole mentioned earlier the roads are wet. You can kind of see that glisten on the parking lot behind Kelsey there as well. We have no rain falling from the sky. We just have that damp feeling with all the moisture out there and the fog. Visibility down to 1.75 miles in Muncie. So that's getting closer to that 1 mile threshold I always tell you when we start to run into issues. But it's very patchy. So just be aware of that this morning. Otherwise, we're in pretty good shape here this morning with just clouds in place, but eventually some storms will head our way later on this afternoon. We should be dry through about the 2 o'clock hour, and then the storms will start to ramp up throughout the evening hours, some of which could be strong to possibly severe. We'll talk more about the storm chances coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:12. Stay with us. We're back in just a few minutes.
Things new tonight on ABC.
After a disappointing night Tuesday, Bernie Sanders says he's still not ready to give up the fight, vowing to stay in the Democratic presidential race.
The Vermont senator lost in Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi, and Idaho. But speaking in Vermont yesterday, Sanders said he was looking forward to meeting his opponent, Joe Biden, on stage. The two will face off in the first head-to-head debate this election season. In his speech, Sanders said that while he's falling behind in several areas, polls show the American people support his agenda.
Poll after poll, including exit polls, show that a strong majority of the American people support our progressive agenda. But it is not just the ideological debate that our progressive movement is winning. We are winning the generational debate. While Joe Biden continues to do very well with older Americans, especially those people over 65, our campaign continues to win the vast majority of the votes of younger people.
Sanders says he plans to challenge Biden on issues like health care, medical debt, and climate change in Sunday night's debate.
Covering the State House this morning, a proposal that could have forced Attorney General Curtis Hill out of office if his law license is suspended has stalled. Both the House and Governor Holcomb backed a proposal that would have prohibited anyone whose law license has been suspended for at least 30 days from serving as Attorney General. Hill is facing a possible 60-day suspension over allegations of sexual misconduct. Senate President Pro Tem Roderick Bray says senators weren't protecting Hill, but were worried about not interfering in the election process. Hill is still waiting on a decision from the state Supreme Court on whether he'll face any punishment.
Ryan Newman conducted his very first interview since being injured in a crash last month on the last lap of the Daytona 500. Appearing on the Today Show Wednesday, the Indiana native described his injuries. Newman, a longtime advocate for safety in the sport, also praised NASCAR's effort to make racing safer.
Basically like a bruised brain, like it just takes time for it to heal. I was knocked out. There was a point where I don't remember a part of the race, and realistically, I just feel so lucky. Like on so many levels, I feel so lucky. Like you look at the crash, you think that's spectacular in a bad way, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the car afterwards, you think about all the things of what happened right for me to be sitting here.
Newman also thanked everyone for their support and prayers. He said he doesn't know when he'll be able to start racing again, but he hopes it will be soon. Here at 5:18, we want to check in with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, another kind of gloomy morning to kick us off.
Yeah, you know, we've been stuck in this pattern where we haven't been able to get rid of the clouds. After that beautiful day on Sunday, we got into the clouds on Monday, and we haven't really seen much of any sunshine since. And as you look outside right now, you can see the low overcast hanging clouds again across central Indiana, and there are some visibility issues across parts of the state. 44 degrees is the current temperature. The humidity is at 96 degrees, so the air is pretty saturated once again, giving us that damp feel. And temperatures are within a couple degrees of each other across most of the area. 45 in Bloomington, 44 in Greenfield, 42 in Greencastle. It's also 42 as you make your way over into the Richmond area. So despite the cloud cover today, we'll actually see our temperatures continue to warm throughout the day. It's just kind of slow but steady throughout the day that these temperatures will start to climb. We're up to about 55 degrees by the time we get to the 1 o'clock hour, and then we'll continue to warm into the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. And I do think we'll climb into the 60s, but it's going to be after the 5 o'clock hour. So our high temperature today, once again, is going to occur very late in the day. But once we get to the afternoon hours, that's when we're going to start to bring in the potential for some showers and thunderstorms across the area. No threat of rain, though, for your morning commute. No threat of rain through the lunch hour, but then eventually some showers and storms will start to make their way in here. So let me quickly show you on TrueCast the timing of this. Here they come, and it's going to be 4:30. The further south you are, the better potential you'll have for some stronger storms as they make their way into the area. And it's not out of the question, a couple of these storms could be borderline severe, especially, again, as you get a little closer to the Ohio River. I think Louisville could potentially have a pretty rough go of it later on this afternoon, but the thunderstorm threat decreases as you move to the north, but you too will get into some rainfall throughout the evening hours. It moves through quick. By the time we get to the midnight hour, all the storms are off to our west. Now, Evansville down into Louisville under the enhanced risk for severe weather. You notice as we come into central Indiana, Bloomington is right on the borderline of the marginal slight risk for severe weather. Seymour in the slight risk, Indianapolis marginal risk. So again, the further north you get, the less in the way of the potential of severe weather, but you should still get into some rainfall later on this afternoon. Tomorrow, the sunshine returns, a little cooler though, 49 degrees. Saturday is a very chilly day at 40 degrees, but then temperatures do moderate as we head back into next week, 60 degrees on St. Patrick's Day.
Todd, thank you. Let's take another live look outside at your traffic this morning. This is I-65 South again over 38th Street. In that area, you can see emergency crews off to the right side. That is due to a vehicle fire. They are expecting cleanup to last about another hour and 20 minutes. So if you head out the door and this is part of your commute, be aware of that.
Verizon is launching a new sub-brand that will provide you with cell phone service starting at just $40 a month. Yahoo Mobile offers just one plan with unlimited talking, text, and data on a 4G network. Users will also get a Yahoo ad-free email account. It's a pretty good deal considering Verizon charges $65 a month for a prepaid unlimited plan and AT&T charges $45 per month. The service is available for purchase online and can be used with iPhone and Android devices.
Joining an all-star superhero team no longer requires a personal invitation from Samuel L. Jackson and an eye patch. Disneyland is opening its all-new Marvel campus this summer. A new attraction called Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, allows guests to see what it would really be like to have superpowers. The family-friendly attraction lets you sling webs from your wrists like Spidey as you try to capture out-of-control spider bots. You can also train with Black Panther and his elite guards from Wakanda. At the center of the new land is, of course, Avengers headquarters. The Avengers campus opens on July 18th.
Fans of Chick-fil-A rejoice. The restaurant is making its signature sauce available in select stores. Next month, bottles of Chick-fil-A sauce and Polynesian sauce will be for sale in some Florida stores. They'll be sold at Publix, Target, Walmart, and Winn-Dixie stores. A 16-ounce bottle costs $3.49. All proceeds will go to Chick-fil-A's scholarship fund for employees. For now, the pilot program is limited to Florida, but Chick-fil-A says it may one day roll out the bottled sauces nationally.
New businesses are opening at the Indianapolis International Airport. Coming up at 5:30, why one high-end makeup brand says it's the perfect place to attract new customers.
Said I had approximately 2 months left to live. So I thought, well, this old man does not deserve to live in a shelter. I'm going to take him home.
A shelter in New York offering a special program for some very deserving pets. We'll have the details coming up.
At andymore-chevy.com.
An animal shelter in upstate New York is giving some pets a chance at comfort during their final days. The Mohawk Hudson Humane Society started the Crossroads program. It allows people to adopt terminally ill pets that still have some time left to be loved. The shelter provides veterinary care free of cost to the animals in the program. Volunteers who participate say it's rewarding to know that you're helping vulnerable animals in their last legs of their lives. Oh,
I love that story.
Brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. That's so sweet and just wonderful that people are willing to do that, because losing a pet can be so difficult.
Definitely.
So the fact people are willing to take animals temporarily and then see them off in their final days, that's awfully good. All right, something not so good. Our forecast for today, we're hoping for some sunshine, Todd, but it's just not going to come, is it?
You know, there could be a few peaks of sunshine here or there. We actually don't want sunshine today, though, because the more sunshine we see, the potential for stronger storms later on this evening. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. Temperatures will eventually climb up into the 50s and 60s later on this afternoon. We're dry until about 4 o'clock. That's when the storms arrive. We'll talk more about them when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, fans will no longer be sitting in the stands this March Madness. The changes the NCAA and other sports organizations are making against the coronavirus.
And President Trump taking charge of travel because of COVID-19, the new restrictions and relief measures he is now putting in place. Thanks for joining us here at 5:30. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We want to get right to weather with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, a damp start to our day. Is that going to last for the rest of our day?
You know, it'll get better just like yesterday. So the morning yesterday was very damp. We had 100% humidity this morning. It's a little bit better. And then as the day goes on, once the sun comes up, even though you may not see it behind the clouds, it'll start to dry us out a little bit. So it'll feel a little bit worse this morning than it will this afternoon. We have some patchy fog out there right now. Visibility down to just under 2 miles in Muncie. It's pretty spotty, though, so just be a little bit careful on the roadways this morning. The clouds are firmly in place all across central Indiana for the most part. And as we go throughout the day, these clouds are going to be stubborn to break apart. And I do think there could be a little bit of sunshine that works in this afternoon. And that's good and it's bad. Obviously, we all wanted the skies to brighten, but the more sunshine we see, the potential will be there for some stronger storms to develop, especially across southern Indiana throughout the afternoon and early evening hours. Temperatures this morning are in the 40s, 44 in Indy, 43 in Bloomington. And throughout the day, temperatures should moderate pretty quickly up into the 50s. And then eventually, before those storms arrive, we'll get very close to 60 degrees. But anytime after 4 p.m., we'll have to be weather aware. Some of the storms could be on the strong to severe side. The best potential for the stronger storms will be across southern portions of central Indiana. We'll break that down for you in more detail coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We are taking a live look right now. I-465 at I-69 Binford Boulevard on the northeast side. You can see traffic is doing doing A-OK in that area of the Circle City. We do want to take a turn now, though, to I-65 south of 38th Street. This is where the right lane is closed due to a vehicle fire. They have been working on cleaning this up for quite some time now. They anticipate that it is going to be closed for about another hour. So if you are headed that direction, just be aware that right lane is closed for about another hour or so. Many events across the world being put on hold because of the coronavirus or COVID-19.
Sports seasons and tournaments here in the U.S. are also taking a big hit. The NBA announced last night the league is suspending its season under further notice, and the NCAA making the decision to remove fans from both men's and women's basketball tournament games. As of now, March Madness games will still go on, including some here in Indianapolis, but the stands will be empty. The NCAA tournament games will be open only to their teams and their staff. A limited number of immediate family and credentialed media will be allowed inside. The tournament starts with the first 4 games in Dayton on Tuesday. Indy is hosting the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 round.
That announcement came just before similar changes were made to the Big Ten tournament at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. It kicked off last night downtown. More than 10,000 fans were allowed to watch the tournament's first 2 games last night, but that will not be the case for the rest of the weekend. The coming games will have the same limited access, only allowing teams, staff, family, and media. Fans did get to watch the Hoosiers win last night against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. After the game, head coach Archie Miller weighed in about playing in empty arenas moving forward.
Grind it out and you get to this point of the season. It's the most special time for our young guys. It's the most special time for obviously the fans. And to get here with this happening obviously is a little unfortunate. So I think we're all crossing our fingers and we're hoping for the best, which is allowing us to continue to play. But like I said, when experts speak up, you better listen.
The NCAA says fans that ordered tickets from official championship vendors will be given a refund. The Big Ten is also refunding tickets and says fans should contact Ticketmaster or their university box office.
We also checked in with the IHSAA about this weekend's boys basketball regional games. The association says they will go on as scheduled unless the governor or state health department decide otherwise. Same goes for the gymnastics state finals.
With the changes to the basketball tournaments, local businesses say they will probably lose customers who decide to no longer come to the events. In downtown, a sign outside South Bend Chocolate Company welcomes Big Ten tournament fans into the store. They're trying to remain optimistic, hoping fans stick around despite not being able to attend the games.
People who have tickets, people who have probably flown from out of town, what else are they going to do? They're going to walk around, explore the city maybe.
South Bend Chocolate Company says they are also taking precautions to prevent the spread of coronavirus by continuing to sanitize and keep the store clean.
11 cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Indiana. The latest cases, as you see here, were confirmed in Johnson, Howard, and St. Joseph counties. As more are reported, universities are suspending classes. The University of Notre Dame, Ball State, and the University of Indianapolis are the latest to cancel in-person classes and replace them with online instruction. That will be in effect for Notre Dame through at least April 13th. Ball State says classes will be suspended through the end of the semester. UIndy is extending its spring break and is also moving classes online until further notice. IU and Purdue have already announced they are suspending in-person classes as well.
Thousands more cases of COVID-19 continue to spread throughout the U.S. and the world. The president addressing the nation last night, doubling down with new travel restrictions. He's also working with lawmakers to provide medical relief and financial aid to Americans in need. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest on the emergency efforts from Washington, D.C.
A country in crisis.
I have decided to take several strong but necessary actions to protect the health and well-being of all Americans.
Here in the U.S. and around the world, coronavirus now a global pandemic, the first in a decade, according to the World Health Organization. The death toll at home and abroad rising. President Trump addressing the nation, instituting more sweeping travel restrictions. Flights from Europe to the United States banned for the next 30 days with few exceptions.
Anything coming from Europe to the United States is what we are discussing.
As more Americans in desperate need of COVID-19 testing and supplies, Trump announcing insurance companies will waive all co-payments for coronavirus treatments. The White House also promising to take emergency action to give workers financial relief, including deferring tax payments for people and businesses. He also called on Congress to offer a payroll tax cut. This as a new warning from top health officials on the speed of the spread.
It is 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu. I think that's something that people can get their arms around and understand.
And now the State Department advising all U.S. citizens to reconsider all travel abroad. And as for President Trump's payroll tax proposal, that has strong opposition from both parties on Capitol Hill. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Andrew, thank you. Oscar award-winning actor Tom Hanks says he and his wife Rita Wilson have tested positive for the coronavirus. They were in Australia for Hanks to begin shooting a movie there about the life of Elvis Presley. In a Twitter post, Hanks described their symptoms as similar to a cold with some body aches. He says they will stay isolated as long as public health and safety requires. Both Hanks and Wilson are 63 years old.
As people try to protect themselves from the virus, stores are running low on sanitizing products. Many stores, including Target and Walmart, are now placing limits on the number of hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes you can buy. Target says it is limiting customers to 6 containers of wipes and hand sanitizers per person, while Walmart is telling store managers to ration their inventory. Experts say the limit should have started earlier to prevent price gouging and hoarding.
A reminder, the CDC identifies the symptoms of coronavirus as fever, cough, and shortness of breath. The agency says the symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure and to call your doctor if you develop symptoms. There are ways you can protect yourself. The CDC says wash your hands with soap and water and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipes. And with so much information out there, we want to help you and your family navigate the coronavirus. You can find the latest information anytime on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus. Let's get a check of your forecast with meteorologist Todd Clausen.
Yeah, as you walk out the door this morning, there's a little bit of fog, there's a little bit of drizzle out there, but no major issues for your morning commute. This afternoon, though, that is a different story as we are anticipating some strong to even severe storms to make their way into central Indiana. It does turn mild today with high temperatures right around 60 degrees. As far as the severe aspect of these storms, we are going to inherit the storms. And what I mean by that is they're not going to just blossom here across central Indiana. It's going to be a cluster of storms that gets going across parts of Missouri and southern Illinois, and then it's going to make its way into central Indiana. The timing of these storms brings them in probably starting around 4 o'clock, lasting through 8 o'clock, and then they'll start to diminish through the latter half of the day. The main threat would be wind and hail, although we can't rule out the chance of maybe an isolated tornado, although I think the tornado threat is mainly along the Ohio River and then into parts of northern Kentucky. We'll break down the severe threat for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The Pendleton Correctional Facility is looking to hire more Hoosiers. Our Kelsey Anderson shows us what it takes to land a job as a correctional officer and when you can apply.
The 2020 legislative session is now over. Still ahead, what lawmakers decided on the controversial proposal to overrule efforts that help Indianapolis renters. It's 5:41. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Hiring Hoosiers is an initiative from RTV6 that works to connect Hoosiers to employment opportunities, career development resources, training programs, and educational paths.
And this morning, our Kelsey Anderson is giving us an inside look at what it takes to be a correctional officer at the state-run Pendleton Correctional Facility. She is live there now with all the details. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So fairness, firmness, consistency, those are the 3 main traits it takes to be a successful corrections officer. And here at the Pendleton Correctional Facility, they're hiring. So we're giving you an inside look at what this job is all about.
It's a great career. It provides for your family, and there's a lot of room for growth and advancement.
Ask any corrections officer and they'll tell you their job is not an easy one, but it is a necessary one.
It's always going to be here. This job's never going to go anywhere.
And right now, the Pendleton Correctional Facility is hiring.
What you see on TV is not what transpires every day. So some days it can be TV and some days it's not TV. For the most part, we're just trying to make sure the guys are safe.
As a female officer, Tiara Howard's 5 years working in the men's prison has come with some challenges.
You just have to be strong-headed, don't wear your feelings on your sleeves, and be able to say no and not be easily offended.
All much easier to overcome because of who she works with.
When I graduated from college, I was looking for stability. And when I came to corrections, I have literally developed a second family.
Eric Hammond, a veteran member of that family with 20 years working at the Pendleton Corrections, monitors the yard with his canine Indy.
I really enjoy canine. It's been a big part of my life. Something that's kept me going each day.
For those looking at this career, Hammond advises to keep an open mind.
When you first get in, it's overwhelming. It really is. There's a lot going on, but the longer you stay here, the easier it gets. You build a rapport with the offenders. You build camaraderie with your staff, and it does get easier.
Corrections officers start out at $16 an hour, full benefits, paid time off, plus the facility offers a tuition forgiveness program.
I think it's a good career opportunity. There's virtually everybody warden on down started off just as a correctional officer, so I mean you can advance as high as you're willing to put in the effort and energy.
Well, if this sounds interesting to you, we've got good news for you. They're having a career fair this Saturday from 9 to noon here at the facility. So for more information on what you need to know and what you should bring, head over to hiringhoosiers.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, at the ground level there behind Kelsey, you could see just a little bit of patchy fog. Here on top of the Salesforce Tower, you can see that our camera is locked in with the clouds. So there are some visibility issues out there this morning, and overall just that damp feel that we've had the past few mornings. And you can look at the humidity and you realize why. 96%. Anytime the dew point temperature and the actual temperature are close to each other, that means the air is almost completely saturated. Sunrise officially this morning right at 8 o'clock in the morning. Once the sun comes up, even though it'll be behind the clouds, it'll help to start to get rid of that damp feeling as the morning goes on. 44 in Indy, 43 in Martinsville, 41 in Lafayette. So everybody's within a couple degrees of each other. And today actually turns into a fairly mild day. You have to be a little bit patient, but by the time we get to the afternoon hours, we should be up into the mid-50s. And then highs today should be right around 60 degrees in Indy, low to mid-60s in southern locations, and then just a little bit cooler to the north. And our attention really in the forecast for today is this afternoon into the evening hours as thunderstorms will start to make their way into the area. So Storm Team 6 radar, very quiet right now, likely to become a lot more active after we get past the 4 o'clock hour. Right now we just have clouds in place, and off to our west there's nothing as of yet, but we'll watch for a cluster of storms to develop across parts of Missouri and then eventually head towards the Ohio River. And I think we're just on the northern edge of the severe weather threat throughout the day today. So the further north you are, the less likely you'll have in the potential for severe storms. Hopeful for a little bit of sunshine. The more sunshine we see throughout the day today, the stronger the storm potential will be. And here come these storms anytime after 4 o'clock. The heaviest of the storms will be along the Ohio River. That's why as you work your way to the north, the severe threat will diminish and also the rain threat will diminish. It's probably just a few scattered showers and storms to the north in the Lafayette area, and it moves through pretty quick. By the time we get to midnight, a lot of these storms are making their way out of the area. Highlight a couple things here for you. The enhanced risk that the Storm Prediction Center has out, it does include counties right along the Ohio River in Indiana. As you work your way north, again, the severe threat will diminish. Bloomington right on the border of the slight to marginal risk. Indianapolis in the marginal risk at just north of Indy, and there's no threat of severe storms, although you could see some heavy downpours and a little bit of lightning. Hail and wind will be the main threat. Can't rule out the chance of an isolated tornado. The best tornado threat, though, will be south of the Ohio River. So the threat for the tornadoes essentially going to be along the Ohio River. Can't rule out one across southern Indiana or two later on this evening, but I don't think it's a huge impact for central Indiana. More of a winter-like feel on Saturday with rain and snow showers in the forecast, but temperatures do quickly moderate heading into St. Patrick's Day as we're back up again to 60 degrees.
Todd, thank you. We do have a traffic alert for anyone heading out the door. This is a live look right now at I-65 South at 38th Street. There is cleanup efforts underway here after a vehicle fire. You can see traffic slowly moving around these emergency crews. If this is part of your commute, be aware of that as you head out the door. 40 years in prison, that's the sentence for a 16-year-old Indianapolis boy accused of killing a brother and sister on the northeast side. Lametrius Sanders agreed to a plea deal in the murders of 16-year-old Nicholas Nelson and 15-year-old Ashlyn Nelson. The teens were shot to death in their apartment near 42nd and Post last August. Sanders is also ordered to serve 5 years on home detention.
Indiana lawmakers have cast their final votes for the 2020 legislative session. One measure approved last night would take away the city of Indianapolis's ability to better regulate the relationship between a landlord and a tenant. If Governor Holcomb signs it into law, Senate Bill 148 would nullify two recently passed Indianapolis ordinances that require landlords to give tenants a notice of their rights and responsibilities and sets aside $250,000 to give tenants legal aid. The bill would also prohibit local units of government from regulating several aspects of a landlord-tenant relationship, including security deposits, leasing terms and conditions, and any fees charged by a landlord. For more on how this bill could impact you and reaction from the mayor and industry advocates, you can head to the IndyChannel.com and click on this story.
Important census documents will begin showing up in Marion County mailboxes today. They are invitations to participate in the 2020 census. The Census Bureau conducts this count every 10 years. It helps determine things like representation in Congress and funding for local schools, roads, and other public services. The mailed invitation will include instructions for how to respond to the 2020 census online or by phone. And for the first time, the census is available online to all households.
Scientists have discovered a new dinosaur, but it's not quite what you'd think. After the break, what scientists are learning about this teeny tiny prehistoric creature. We'll be right back.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
A new discovery defies everything we thought we knew about dinosaurs. Scientists found a new bird-like dinosaur so tiny its skull was preserved in a drop of amber. It's thought to be the smallest dinosaur ever discovered. They say it's been preserved for 99 million years and was half an inch long and weighed less than 1/10 of an ounce. Researchers also say it's smaller than the smallest known modern bird, called the bee hummingbird. You know, a lot of people always joke and say, you know, what if Jurassic Park happened in real life and things like that? I could get behind that if the dinosaurs were that big.
That small.
Big as a little tiny bug.
They wouldn't be as scary, would they?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be bad. What do you think, Todd?
Yeah, it's not like T-Rex chasing you down or something like that.
Little baby.
A little tiny one. All right. Outside right now, temperatures are in the 40s. Storm Team 6 radar is quiet this morning. There's still some patchy fog. There's that damp feel as you walk out the door, but no significant precipitation this morning. That has the potential to change as we get into the afternoon hours, as storms will likely develop after 4 o'clock. Some of them could be strong to severe. The best severe threat would be across southern sections of central Indiana. Bloomington to Columbus and points to the south have the best threat. The good news is it's a fairly mild day for us as high temperatures get up to right around 60 degrees.